So, Lawrence, welcome back. Welcome to the stream. How you doing, man?
Thank you.
How have you been?
Yeah, busy. Yeah, real life stuff has been very busy. Work's been busy, and it's just been, yeah, that's why I haven't put out as many videos as I'd like. But you know, it is what it is.
I mean, like, to be honest, like the honest truth is like there isn't also like a lot to speak except like the new instances for Necromancer that I want to kind of deep dive, right?
Agreed.
Because Necromancer, man, you guys are lucky. You gotta admit, like, you guys are so lucky that you always get, at least for the past, what, like, I will say, like, maybe like since the vortex, you had the vortex, then you had like the big golem coming, then we had what, like no, I'm saying the big golem was like the pet, the big one that allows you guys to AFK farm a lot. Then you had now like the golem tank, and now not only you had the golem tank, now you're also gonna have a mount. What is this about? I'm actually envious.
I know, when I see it on the notes when they were leaked, I was like, oh my god. And we spoke about this in my Discord as well as in the actual main Diablo Immortal Discord and in the Necromancer channel for a long time about having a mount. And yeah, so far, so it's come true. And it's going to be absolutely amazing. From them videos we've seen, Christ, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. As long as it looks as good as it, or feels as good as it looks.
So this is actually something that you guys already been asked for? I actually had no idea.
Yeah, we've spoke about it in the main Necro channel for a while, saying that we should have some sort of mount. And I think originally it was like just as a joke, maybe like some sort of golem that you just jump on and you kind of just stomp around. But yeah, this rhino sounds pretty cool. Yeah, I'm intrigued. I can't wait to get my hands on it.
I think it sounds more than cool. Like it's like when I saw it, I literally couldn't believe what I was watching. Because like first it didn't feel like it kind of fitted like the necro because it's a rhino, but then it's like a skeleton rhino, right? So it was like making a lot of sense, but like I don't know, I feel like at the end of the day barbarians should have had a mount and not necro. That's what I think. That's what I think.
How would they do? What sort of mount would you want? Are you on about, because I think you said about this the other week. I think you said something like a Kodo from WoW.
Yeah, a Kodo, like, I don't know. It has to be like some sort of like dinosaur, you know? Not dinosaur in the sense of be like T-Rex or something like that, but I mean like when you look like to a rhino, it reminds you of a dinosaur, you know? Because it still has like that very primitive like kind of skin, horns, you know. So something along those lines, I would love to see it coming. But it also had to have some kind of like tribal decoration on top of the mount, you know, like maybe like what do you call like those things that they tap, like you know? Oh, dude, I forgot. What is it?
It's like a war drum.
You guys think it's me that is lagging? No, don't tell me. Oh, if it's me, it's lagging. Okay, I'm gonna close everything. So you're having a rough time watching me, right? Yo, can you hear me? It's insane how this service has like so many years, and yet it still sucks. It is good in many ways, but I feel like for voice calls and all these things, it tends to like to lag a lot. It's not like 100% reliable.
No.
But for the Discord and all these things, and I actually like talking about Discord. I know that you did a new Discord, right?
Yeah, my Discord's been up and running for a few months now.
And how is it going? It's rough.
We're going all right. I think it's about 320 members, so
we're nice. And how active it is, because like that's the issue, man. Like the number itself, it doesn't like really matter. What it matters like how many active members you have. Is it being active?
Yeah, it's being used. Yeah, every day. Which is
okay,
good.
Yeah, that's like the roughest part, man. Because like what happens like at the start, like everyone is super excited about like the new server, or like because you know like, and then it kind of goes down. So as a okay, so in the past, Lawrence, I used to have a Discord server with more than 7,000 people, and wow. and I put a lot of time in it, right? Like admin and all these things. And this time I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it because I feel like it will take like a lot of my time, and it does. It still does, because like whenever people join to your Discord, even though I'm not there all the time, but people just have like that expectation that, you know, maybe like on the Discord they will have a closer relationship with you, and that is gonna take like extra time.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that?
Well, I was quite lucky because I'd already built up quite a following on the main channel in the Necro community, because I used to do infographics and things like that for them. I brought some of those over into my channel straight away, and
Oh,
so we've got an area where we can talk about Necro stuff and kind of theory craft as well in my Discord channel, as well as having the main areas where everyone can talk, and then people that I've brought over are very active and help a lot of people out. So
oh,
it's very
that's
good
awesome.
and keeping conversation flowing. So it is really, really good. Got quite a good team there that helps out.
Because it's mainly like just focusing one thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Definitely I feel like that's like the challenge, right? So whenever you starting out, it's always easier to start out like with a very niche thing where people know what they are gonna go there for. They know that they're gonna get like, you know, these masterminds when it comes to Necromancer, but then maybe along the way you want to grow a bit more than that. And then whenever you try to do that, then people are gonna give some pushback, you know, oh, you have changed, you know, like
Yeah, for sure. Don't get me
all,
wrong. I've got the Discord is set out with all the different class channels. It's got everything you'd need in there to be a complete Discord.
mhm.
But most of the conversations is obviously about Necromancer because
Yeah,
that's what I do.
obviously.
But we've got the other channels in there because the guys that I've got there kind of we talk about a lot of different things. They do play other classes. So if there's any help that people need, they can always go into them other channels and help out anyway. So it's really really quite worked out quite well.
Yeah, that's then like whatever we do, and especially for you, right? Like you have a job and all these things.
Mhm.
You always need some help. I actually got like some great guys as well. Especially like I got like one girl. Fuck, dude. Like she like the drama queen. She's
Drama queen.
literally she's like she's godly. And yeah, if you get like one or two people like that that can like really help you on the Discord, definitely I feel like
Yeah,
Discord is really nice for community building.
I think
uh
so. You need it in a game like this.
yeah,
One hundred
because
percent.
yeah, because like what else there is like outside of like the updates and all these things, there is the community, and the community is the thing that usually keep us, you know, playing the game. So since the last time we spoke, not on the stream, but because I'm curious, but remember like that conversation we had like a few months back, you know,
Yep.
when the, you know, like you were starting to pop off, you had and you were like trying to branch out, and how are things going since then?
I think going great. You know, I don't. I think when we first had that initial conversation, it was about kind of like the types of videos that I was putting out, and I think the conversation that we had over that period of time was just very, very helpful especially for a new YouTuber.
Yeah.
And since then, you know, I've changed a lot of the things that I was doing. The advice you give was great, and yeah, every video that I put out now seems to do very well, which is good, which is awesome. You know,
Yeah.
this is exactly what I wanted. The growth, I kind of didn't expect the growth to be as much as it has been. You know, shortly we'll be hitting 4,000 subs, and I've only been doing it since November.
Damn.
You know, so it's yeah, it's really, really, really gone really well, really well.
So since November, I think I started early, like late August. So yeah, September, October, so 3 months apart.
Yeah,
So yeah, so in a way, like I think before you, I think I was the newest YouTuber to pop off, right? Like
yeah.
at least at least I don't know if there is someone else there that is trying to create content like this, but I mean, like doing it in a way that, you know, managed to get some success. I think after you, I is there anyone that came after you, like
I
in the since
don't,
November?
I don't know of any at the moment. Not that's kind of popped off in a way that I have, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah.
I know there's
It,
a lot of people out there that are trying to branch into it for sure. Um, but I think it's just that you've got to, I think like you said, you've got to hit that mark when it comes to what you want to figure out what you want to do. You know, stick with one thing instead of trying to do hundreds of different things, and get that known for yourself first, because then people will follow you. Be a pillar of the community almost, you know, make them aware that you are the person they can come to for that one thing and ask you any questions, instead of just trying to be someone that wants to do everything and just get, I suppose, the subs.
Yeah, you actually hit in a very key point, because you know, like, that's like we go back like to the conversation we had, right? The main problem that I feel, if I have to identify like certain problems that I see like new YouTubers that they are trying to build up a channel, doesn't matter what it is, but especially like when it comes like to gaming in a already like established game, is that, like you say, they don't first think, what is my value proposition? Like, where do I actually stand out? Like, what is gonna be my message? Like, where, like, because like it's very easy to look at like the top and trying to copy the top, right? Because but you know, like, before I started like doing videos like covering news, I was like the barb guy, right? And the same way that probably right now you're the necro guy, but I'm sure like you're gonna evolve in the future like to something else.
For sure.
And I will say, like, definitely 100%, if you want to start like a channel, try to understand where you're coming from. Like, for me, was a barbarian, and then the second thing was that I was free to play, and there was not a lot of free to play players. And I still think that above the barbarian thing, being the free to play YouTuber, it is kind of still like the thing that most people know me for.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think? Do you think like that's accurate? Because like that's just the perspective I get.
100%. 100%. You know, whenever you see anyone talking like in world chat or in just party chats or clan chats, I suppose YouTubers' names come all the time. And if it's to do with a free-to-play YouTuber, your name's always there. You know, so you've definitely got yourself, you know, as the free-to-play YouTuber. Although you did troll everyone on April Fools, which was really, really good.
That was a godly video. Okay, that
was really good.
Like, I am sure like a few people here in the chat right now, they got trolled. Chat, press
100%.
one. Press 1 in the chat if you actually believed in the April Fool's video, man, that I said that I was not free to play. That was you know what? I actually got like a few compliments regarding the acting. People like really believe that shit. Even my wife said that, you know, maybe she's gonna
Oscar worthy, man.
yeah, she's gonna be like, man, if you actually lie to me, maybe I'll also start believing it. I'm like, I don't want you to think that. Jug is as a question. We gotta hear a question. Chat. Jug is asking, do you think PvE wise has Wizard past Tempest, Barb, or Crusader damage wise? So, do you think like Wizard is doing more damage than all these other classes?
Probably not. But Wizard is good. I think Crusader's up there though.
Yeah, Jug, I don't know where you got that idea. But no, like Wizard, it is probably like right now in the A tier, maybe A minus, I will say. But it's not close in terms of DPS I mean, like, probably it's close to Barb, but I don't think it's close to Tempest or like Crusader. Crusader,
Insane.
Crusader is insane. Only someone that never played Crusader, he doesn't understand. Like, it is literally, you just click 3 buttons, you walk, and you blast everything. It's absolutely crazy. All the people hyping a Wizard, I mean, they can hype it as much as they want, but the fact is that it's like, it is exciting whenever you have new builds for a certain class. Absolutely, I think we all like that. And you had, like, for example, Aura that just came out with a new PvP build. There was like Maul that came out like with that you know, like the lightning novas around you. I think it was Aura also that came out like with that, you know, massive like you know, ice blocks, firestorm tornadoes. It was pretty awesome. It doesn't mean that that build is specific, it is like god tier in terms of damage, but he absolutely looks really good, right?
Yeah, for sure. You know, Beast in there saying Slater steals damage is not real. I suppose.
Zader steals damage. Oh,
It's
you mean like
because
because
of overkill.
they do the overkill thing, right?
100%.
Okay, but that's not like really a Crusader problem. That's probably like a development problem, right? Like they just have to get that out of like the damage meters. But still, if you can go out of your way and to one-shot all these packs, it is still very, very good, man. I feel like for me, when it comes like to top tier damage, I will put Crusader at first. I will put probably I will say maybe Necro second, just because I think Necro, it is way easier to build up a high damage Necro than a high damage Tempest. Because like with Tempest, you need like a lot of crit, you need a lot of attack speed, and with a Necro, you need what? You need to put your build on, maybe some dots, and then you just run and you just do a lot of damage. It's still the same build, one that you just resolve everything.
Yeah, it's still dot resolver. Yeah, you Raving Silence legs. But I think when it comes to stat wise, you just want to chuck on. You know, the only dot you actually need is the helm. Study Menace. That's the only dot you need. The rest of it just should be damage amp through crit chance and raw damage. And then you'll just be blasting the numbers. So as long as you've got the gems and the stats that do that, there's going to be no worries with that. So.
Yeah, that's the adaptation that I think after we saw like the testing. So there was a like Craney made that video that popped off for the Barbarian, right? Like the with a demo shout that also is resolve the dots and all these things.
Yes.
But what this other guy that he mentioned on his video managed to solve is like, while Orat was coming up with an approach of like, okay, you just come with the dots, you extend the duration of the dots, and then you just blow up everything. This other guy thought, okay, what if we just amplify all these damage modifiers from all these, you know, like the Spectral Glass, Berserker Eye, Morn Skull, whatever it is, the, you know, increased damage. And you just put it on, and he figured it out that actually does more damage than doing these all other shenanigans. And,
for sure. The amount of times I get asked about kind of, you mentioned like Misery Elixir, you know, increasing the dots durations and things like that. Yeah. The amount of people that ask that question, well, how does that actually increase your damage? And what people don't realize how that works, you know, it's surprising how many people don't actually know that the duration you're increasing it from is just going to apply more damage because you're resolving the dot.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like 24% duration increase. It is. Do you think is more? I think it is probably more than 25% increased damage. It gotta be, right?
I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah. If I don't know the math, I'm not a math magician, right? But I will think that is probably more. Because like I remember like one of I saw like on Discord the guy that did the whole like Barbarian research. It said like remove the dots, but one that you want to keep it is definitely the Misery Elixir, because that increased duration is gonna give you more increased damage than probably most of like these 2 stars.
Yeah, 100%. You know, you'll probably find that Misery Elixir will do more damage than say Berserker's Eye.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm actually kind of sad that I am reaching to that point on the game that I think I'm becoming a free-to-play whale, man. Like I'm not using a lot of like these 1 stars, you know. Like I think I'm about to retire my Berserker Eye.
But that is the progression, right? You know, even as a free-to-play player, it doesn't matter what kind of state of the game you're in, you will have that progression. It will just take you longer to hit that progression, where you will start dropping the 1 stars off 2 stars, and then eventually the 2 stars off for the 5 stars. Yeah. It's just a progression that will happen. And over time, when more gems come available, you know, look at Colossus Engine, you know, an amazing 5-star gem. Jeez. It's unbelievable.
Do you have it?
Yeah, I've just turned it into a 4-star, and I'm 1 upgrade away from rank 5. Just getting it.
I feel like the gem above all just looks awesome. You know.
Well, yeah, for sure.
You just become like big, a big dude or a big girl like I am right now in the okay. One thing, like I saw these comments and I kind of wanted to ask you. Some people said that the main reason why they are nerfing the chains and the melee attack for the Tempest is to push them to sell more Colossus engine, because they are nerfing the skill range, but they are giving more skill range with a 5-star. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I could see that being a balance thing that they're doing. I would agree with that. Yourself?
But do you think like but okay, I agree that maybe is a balancing thing, but I don't know if it's like completely related to the 5-star. Maybe like it's just like pushing a bit like the.
Yeah, it might not be completely related to the 5-star. Sure, I think that the nerf to say chains, for instance, is probably more due to the fact that there's been a lot of uproar about being dragged off the screen. Yeah.
A lot of. Let's call it what it is. Let's call it what it is. A lot of crying.
You could definitely say crying for sure.
Oh, no, I just hope like I am okay with the nerfs. I understand. Whenever I play the other classes, obviously the chains are very powerful. Like we all know that. But I feel like it is a bit harsh. Like 50%, even like for the Tempest, I think it's just like a bit too much. Like removing like at half. But am I still gonna stop using the chains? Probably not, because before the chains, Barbarian used to be like very kiteable. Like everyone could kite. There was no way to reach to the backline or anything. So maybe I think what they are trying to do is just like, okay, we're gonna remove like these chains and we're gonna start applying this leap. I don't know if you saw like the instances for Barb. They are all like about like pushing these these leap and all these things.
But like you said, it's all about closing the gap, isn't it? So you can always be close to the range classes, so you don't get it kited. You don't want any kiting going on.
Some people are saying it's lagging. Is it lagging? For me, it's fine. I am watching the stream. Yeah, I think it's fine. Try to guys, just try to refresh the browser to see if that fix. Let me see. We had more here. Like Cisco was saying, I just give more damage as a Barb than most Zaders that I play with in PvE. No, but there's nothing to do with the class, right? It's a player issue, because if we put Barbarian and Crusader in the same like power and the same like optimized builds, I feel like Crusader will take the win, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. We have here someone on Twitch. He was asking, Mojo was asking you, can you put me in Akuma? I will suck them toes.
Well, he would definitely have to just ask the clan leader. If he wants to join Akuma, it's not down to me. Even if you suck my toes.
Oh, dude. Yeah. I mean, it is almost an offer that is hard to refuse, but
it is 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not up to him for sure. Brando is asking, is it actually better running 4 different classes? For example, in Challenge Rift, using just a few, using the Survivor Paragon tree with the different skill traits compared to the best Paragon tree normally. So basically, what I think this is asking is like, should I use the most optimal DPS Paragon tree, or should I use the Survivor? Which one do you usually go with?
And the most optimal.
Always big damage?
Yeah, big damage. I find that even if you're going in with a group that's, actually made to use that ability with the different crits until you can get extra crit, it's just not worth it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm gonna try something, Lawrence. I'm gonna not show my camera, okay? I don't know if this is gonna work, okay? Maybe it will help, okay? You don't mind?
Yeah, no, I don't mind.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe that'll help maybe with a bit with the lag. So yeah, guys, if you guys have more questions, just put them in the chat so I can ask Laurent or ask both of us. So we are just here speaking about the game. I just want to go back a bit to that conversation that we were having now about creating content and starting out, because I'm also curious about those things. I want to ask you, if you had to start again and you had to go, you see a uprising YouTuber what will be the advice, like the best advices that you'll give now that you've been doing this for a few months?
I think the advice would be pick something that you're good at and stick to it. Don't try and be a master of everything because it's just impossible. Stick to that one thing that you kind of know very well, and just go with it. Don't hesitate. Just get into it. And push forward. And see what happens. If you want to start making a channel, there's no better time to start is right now. Just get on with it. If you don't start, you're never going to know what can happen.
No, that's the part that you just said. The best time to start, it is right now. And you know that for many years, I kind of pushed the idea of having a channel, and a lot of times it's like you always think, oh no, now it's too late. Oh, everyone is already doing it. It like whatever. Insert your like. I'm already too old for this shit.
Yeah.
Whatever you're gonna say. I started and I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. I still feel like there is always opportunity. I think like if you're decent, and as you said, like as long as you bring some value or some unique value to the table, I think like the time to start is now. And also I just want to add something. Maybe you're not like that great at the game, okay? But maybe you're just an awesome dude. Like you just have that personality. Or maybe you're just funny. Like there is so many other things that go besides the game. The game usually, the way I think it is the game, it is like the honey that will attract the viewers into you. But then they're gonna have to like you for some reason, right? So everyone, for example, loves Orat because Orat is like this Einstein when it comes like to the calculations with the spreadsheets, right? Mo is just like seems like a chill dude, it likes speed leveling and all these things. You seems like a chill dude, you love Necro, you play with Necro, everything related to Necro, you bring it on, and so on, so on, so on. So don't let also sometimes the game be a limitation, or also what people think is like, oh, this game is dying, so maybe why spending the time, right? Which I want to kind of touch like on that topic, because like I feel like every few months we are talking about like how dead Diablo Immortal is. And I'm pretty sure that...
But we just had them figures released, and it was surprising.
Yeah, so... Okay, that got leaked, and then got deleted. Okay?
Yeah.
But there was no confirmation, so whatever the Laurent is saying is that there was this post that NetEase came out with the profits for Diablo Immortal. And it was in the first quarter. So first quarter is what? It is 3 months, right? January, February, and March. 60 million. So
yeah,
an average of like 20 million. Do you believe that?
It's hard to say, isn't it? Whether it's true or not. They're the figures we have to go on. You can probably say they're inflated somewhat. But we all know that the game is always attracting new players. And while it's still attracting new players and people are still spending money, the game is still in a good state, a good position, I suppose. But no doubt it is still going down, like we've said before in other videos. The game, when a game launches, it's up at a high, and then it progressively goes down until it's no more. It's always in a dying state.
Yeah, I feel like just by judging the number, and then I went and I check out like these massive gacha games, right? Okay, I went to compare with those, like Genshin Impact, Wandering Waves, Honkai Star Rail, and all these other things, which they have a way bigger player base than Diablo Immortal. And in those games, if we look at the numbers, they are struggling to go above 20 million. Okay. Wandering Waves, I think it was like about like around 18 million. Then there was like Unkai, like goes a bit above, and then you have like a Genshin Impact a bit more above. And for you to tell me that Diablo Immortal, it is in the middle of like these games that have like millions and millions and millions of players,
Yeah.
it is kind of sus. On the flip side, maybe an argument can be said that Diablo Immortal has an older audience, maybe with more money, right? That can be an argument to be made. But overall, I still feel like it does not compensate the you know, like, I don't know, man. It's just like, I believe that this game still does well or decently well when it comes like to the monetary value, probably. But I will put it like probably around like the 5 million. I think it does like 5 million. Obviously, this is just like an estimation based on like the player base numbers that we saw. But one thing that this is also counts the numbers that they have on China, right? So
Yes.
maybe net is the 20 million in the global, right? Like China plus all over the world. Maybe either way, I think it was very, very surprising to see that number.
I was surprised.
Yeah. Now I'm kind of even more pissed, and I'm gonna explain why. If you're making 20 million and you're not putting the same quality of content as these other gacha games and all these things are putting, they are pumping like massive storylines, massive updates every like 2-3 weeks, man. It's insane. And like we have to wait because like it feels like we are looking at Diablo Immortal like it is a dying game. So everything that they throw at us, it is just like, oh my god, now we have this, you know?
I think that goes to a video I think that Echo was talking about the other day, saying that you kind of have these these events are always just rehashed.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the events, no dungeons, no new events, no.
Yeah.
There's just like a lot of lack of innovation. Systems that are being introduced in the game, they are very underwhelming. I was me and you and pretty much any other player like in Diablo Immortal, we were so excited for like the crafting. I was actually like, okay, this is it. This is like the thing that probably is gonna open up maybe a more MMO-ish kind of vibe. And I got like very disappointed, man.
But I think that goes to say, like, you're a min-maxer. You like to min-max. Everyone who plays an ARPG, they're min-maxers. They want to be able to kind of go to the crafting table. They want to be able to kind of change stats, and they don't want it to cost an absolute fortune. The fact that, you know, to change your class skill, you know, is going to cost you 10 Terra essences. Just a bit of a joke.
10 Terra essences, man. Like, you know, like we pushed a lot as a partner, like since day one of like the enchant feature, which we're not expecting. Okay, that feature we are not expecting, and I think like the positive, you know, reaction to the enchanting feature was really nice, and I feel like it is better to have it than not to have it, obviously, and it is the way I see it as like having the option of changing with 10 Terra essences is better than not having the option. Yet, I still feel like the enchant feature, it is super, super costly. And even for a mid-maxer, I think it is, because it's like 10 Terra essences for one roll, man. One roll that you don't
crazy.
even know if you're gonna have it.
Now, if that was 10 to pick what you wanted, would that be okay? I still don't think it would.
If it was deterministic,
yeah, so you could actually go, right, I'm going to roll 10 and I'm going to be able to pick the exact fix how I want. I still think that's too much. I think maybe 5 would be the right cost there. And maybe 1 for just re-rolls that are random.
I think if you told me, okay, I'm gonna pay 10 tariffs and it's deterministic, even though I still think and I agree with you that it is a bit too much, I will probably still be okay with it. And because like it will remove a lot of like the gambling, right? It's just like, you know, when something in life is gonna cost you a lot, but you know that for sure if you pay a bit extra, at least you know you're getting the right thing, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know, like I actually cannot give like a good example, but I feel like that exactly the same way, right? Like if you told me that I pay 10 but I can be deterministic, however, I see where you're coming from, because the reality is like if we look at the lifespan of all of like these items, they are very short, right? Because we have like this constant increase on the combat rating. And it's not like, for example, like I have like these shoulders right here, and now I think it's the headpiece. Okay, I have like a headpiece is a completely godly, like 42 willpower, strength, attack speed, a critical hit chance, and you know, critical hit damage. I would love to just keep this piece. Like this piece, I can keep it for like many, or like at least like 2 or 3 difficulties. I feel like that will be a way that I would like the game to proceed in the future. Would you like to do that, or do you like the constant grind of like the gear all the time?
I suppose coming from other Diablo games, I think the grind for gear is always kind of, I could get better, I could get better. That dopamine fix, you know, which you want to get that dopamine, you know, trying to find that best piece. But I can see where you're coming from, 100%. You know, maybe class gear could be saved in the armory, so you don't have to re-roll that fix.
Because like I'll tell you, for example, a problem that happened with me, right? I had the 4 out of 4 flowing strike. Okay, I had the gear, but then I keep switching classes. But even if I wanted to go back to it, the last time I played Tempest, it was what, like 2 months ago or something like that.
Yeah.
That gear, it is absolutely garbage. You know, like I will be like 1000 combat rating below. You know, it is almost unusable at this stage.
Yeah.
And I hope that in the future, maybe this is just like maybe a massive copium. But I kind of wanted like to have a resource, probably like very rare to get, but that it could bump the combat rating or the stat of the gear. Because like I said, like it's not every day that you actually have a piece that is pretty much perfect. It's not. I played this game for about a year, right? The perfect pieces, it is so rare to get. Having a 42 willpower, strength, attack speed, the critical hit chance, and critical hit damage with the only thing is not max roll, it is like the critical hit chance, but I think maybe I could get it a bit up, like with the enchant system. It is insanely rare. So whenever I have these, I kind of wanted to have a way inside the game, maybe with some resource, that instead of like being a 2400 combat rating, I'll just throw this item and now it's just gonna bump it up like the main stats and the combat rating, or maybe just the combat rating. I'll be fine, because at the end of the day, all I was looking was for these substats. Would you be okay with something like that?
I could see that working out. You know, I know they do. They need to do a lot with the game currently when it comes to the stats, the grind, people that are joining the game. You know, the amount of time it takes for a new player. I think I see it on Reddit today. Someone asking how long it takes to get level 30 gear as a new player, and you know, I felt really sorry for them, because, brutally honest, you know, you're talking minimum 6 to 7 months if you really grind. And that just sounds insane saying that, right?
No. If you really grind, it can be done in I like nowadays it can be done in 100 days. But we are talking about like degenerate grinding, okay?
Yeah.
Degenerate, okay? Yeah, it can be done because now also we have like the seeker's path, but for a normal human being, most likely it will take you above 6 months, if not 1 year, depending
Yeah.
on how casually you go. The good news is like you actually don't need to be like rank 30. That's the good news. I mean, you don't, like, after you get like the rank 26, it's all
The only downside to that is, you say that, but to only do enchants, don't you have to have gear at level 30?
Oh, yeah, now you kind of
Maybe.
punch me in the dick, man.
I'm sorry, man, but maybe that.
No,
needs
you're
to be
right. You're right.
reduced.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Because I like whenever I level up, like I only needed to actually go to level 26, but back then we didn't have the enchant system. But you're absolutely right. I feel like the enchant feature is becoming like a such a core feature
Yeah.
that will enable you so many things. Even though it's costly as F, I still, like, even yesterday I roll like 2 or 3 items, and I saw my gold dust like boom, 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 boom,
Yeah,
boom.
for sure.
It does, I lost like 2,000 dust just like that. And
Whenever I re-roll, I have to go and convert my scraps to dust just so I can keep going. It's,
dude.
it's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah,
You know, there's not been a Diablo game that is as costly when it comes to enchanting as DI.
yeah, really. Oh no, yeah, pretty sure. You're
I'm
completely
pretty
right.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't. From what I remember, and it's been a while since I played like Diablo 3, but I know that some of the enchants or the rerolls in that did get expensive when it come to gold. But
Mhm.
gold was like so plentiful in that game that it didn't
Yeah,
matter. You know, you had billions and trillions of gold. Didn't
yeah,
matter. You
yeah.
could just reroll for days. But in this game, you know, you're lucky, like you say, if you haven't got that many scraps sitting around because you haven't played the game very long, but you have managed to get your gear to level 30, it doesn't even matter that you got your gear to level 30 because you're not going to be able to reroll anyway.
That's what I was thinking just now as you're saying that. Imagine you got, yes, I unlocked it, and then you look at the materials, and I'm like, because like we are fortunate that whenever the enchant system came, we already had a lot of months of like these scraps and gold dust sitting in our bags. You way more than me, I'm sure, but we had this deposit of like things, and we can actually go. And I remember on the first day I was like, oh fuck it, man, I'll have like, I just threw like 10,000 or like 20,000 dust, right? The gold is like it was nothing. Like I was just excited like to min max the whole gear. And after that day, I just realized, holy shit, I almost drained all my resources of like the past 6 months trying
like
to beat max every game.
That half an hour just cost me everything.
Exactly. Dan in the chat was saying that the problem is that most resources are time gated, which sucks. Yeah, that's absolutely true. That's actually the key point that actually, in my opinion, it ruined the whole crafting system, right? The weekly cap, but I don't know how they will do it. You know, like the weekly cap, it is a way to avoid the AFK farming. So it's like a necessary evil, but at the same time, it ruins the whole fun. You know,
There's only one thing that ruins the fun. And I'll say this because I know you and Echo have been talking about this a lot recently.
yeah.
And sadly, people don't like to hear it, but the thing that ruins this game as a Diablo game is PvP. Because we wouldn't have all these time-gated things if it wasn't for PvP. The only reason we have time-gated things in this game is to make sure that everyone's at a level playing field so that no one is too ahead of the others when it comes to like server paragon, when it comes to the gems. You know, in other Diablo games, gems and that drop, there's no date on them. You know, they just drop. You get as many as you want, whenever you want. PvP is the time gate here because that is what holds us back.
Yeah, you're probably right. And that's why you know, whenever thinking about if I wanted the new Diablo Immortal game, and I asked this to Echo, it's like, do you want it to be? And actually, I'm gonna ask you before I say the answer. If there was a Diablo Immortal 2, Okay, Blizzard announced it on the next BlizzCon that's gonna happen next year. They say Diablo Immortal 2, it is coming. It's coming on mobile, desktop, blah 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 blah. And it's gonna be a full PvP lobby experience. Okay, you go, you have a preset, you know, you have your character, you can select your class. Like a PvP game. Imagine like you're gonna play, you know, Valorant in a way. You know, like you pick your class, you go inside the lobby, and then you do PvP. You have multiple maps, leaderboards. You can do your arena team. You can go, well, you know, PvP game. Or the other one. Now the new Diablo Immortal is gonna be a full-fledged PvE experience with way more depth and more character customization. Which one would you pick?
I would pick the PvE.
Why?
I think that I just get more enjoyment out of that, and the longevity of the game would just be, for people that enjoy that side of it, I think it would just be great. And that is what a true Diablo game is.
Fuck it. Now, okay, that's what a Diablo game is. It always was, right? And my answer was also the same, even though, you know, I love PvP, right? And one of the main reasons why I play this game, it is for the PvP. But if I had to choose between the PvE or the PvP, but you had to promise me that it was going to be a challenging experience in PvE. Not of this bullshit that we have, right?
Oh,
like
yeah, for sure.
Something, it doesn't need to be like super hardcore, sweaty hard, but something, no combat rating, no no pay to win,
nope.
And only cosmetics. Okay, I would sign right there.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Definitely. 100%. I agree. It would be amazing to have a game just like that. It would also be... Wouldn't it just be too similar to D3 then?
But is D3 on the mobile?
Sadly not.
That's the thing.
D3 was great. I don't know how many hours you put into it, but I put probably, you know, not as many as some of the big YouTubers out there, but I probably did 5,000 hours across all the classes. Mainly Necro, obviously. But it was such a great game, you know. Certain parts of it were just a grind fest where they're really easy, but when you was actually pushing the greater rifts, some of them were challenging, and it was really good. And then they brought in the little challenge kind of dungeon things that they did, and that were quite interesting as well. And the game, DI could have took so much from that, but instead we've got what we've got, and we have to kind of deal with that and enjoy it to the best we can, I suppose.
Yeah. We have Dan saying that the only thing that makes this game enjoyable is PvP.
Agreed. I think, like I said, there's going to be people out there that just want to play the game for PvP. Indez just said that as well. He liked the game because it's got the PvP aspect. I enjoy PvP, but sadly, it's what holds the game back from being a full-fledged Diablo game.
It's like those things that, and I saw it like in many other games. It is really, really hard to make a very good game that has a perfect balance between PvE and PvP. And that's why, like, the greatest games, usually, they are just focused in one thing. Or they are full PvP games, or they are full PvE games.
Yeah.
This mix, it's kind of, you're gonna have mid-tier PvP experience and mid-tier PvE experience, because as you said, probably the PvP, it is, well, I think like is the reason why the PvP experience is mid in Diablo Immortal, I think a lot has to do with the pay-to-win aspect. Because like the experience itself, whenever you're playing inside the battlegrounds, the way the characters feel, like all these builds that you can do in these things, they feel kind of good. They kind of feel kind of good, but obviously it gets a bit ruined because of the pay-to-win. And on the other side, as you said, and well, we have the PvE experience that, well, we are having weekly camps, we are having all these weekly, all like these shenanigans to try to contain your power, combat rating, just to keep like the players more or less around the same level, same power. But at the end of the day, they can't. And I feel like now that I'm talking about these, I feel like by containing all and having all these weekly camps, what it does, it is that oh, if you want to grow more powered and you can't because you're capped on this, and that, well, you gotta swipe, right? That's literally
100%.
the only way they can do that.
But then the trouble is, there is an issue with that, because even if you swipe, the difference that you get from the amount of money you put in. So, say for instance, you're as a free-to-play player, just like yourself. You're at a point where you've done all your caps. You can't get any more kind of combat rating. You can't do any more of that. But you suddenly decided, tomorrow I'm going to become a whale. I'm going to spend so much money that I'm going to get the max amount of residents you possibly can. The CR difference would be 2K maximum.
Yeah. But
It's
at
not
least I
really-
will be able to do challenge dungeons. Hey!
Exactly. And you'll be able to one-shot most people in PvP, you know, why not? But you're also like 100 grand in out of pocket, you know, and the rest.
It's not that I need it, you know, it's just like, it's just, no, it's, I don't know, it's like at the end of the day, like, I really feel like this game, it will be what it always was. But again, now that I think, like, if they are really making 20 million per month, like, and if this actually becomes like official information, I will be very, very disappointed, right? Because I could understand, you know, Blizzard maybe doesn't have enough resources and all these things, because maybe like the game is not doing that hot or whatever, you know what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, man, it is a $1 billion company. It's not like we're talking about here like an indie studio that just made this game.
No, exactly.
You know, like,
We're talking about the company that made World of Warcraft. Come on.
Yeah, like we cannot really go so low with our you know, expectations, and also you know, the demands. No, maybe it's not demanding, is not like the right word. It's just like, man, we've been playing these games for such a long time from Blizzard, and I feel like maybe we got spoiled. Okay, I feel like we still think like the old time how Blizzard was, and maybe like, everyone says like the new games, or at least this new era, is not as great as like the old games, but I feel like it is. Do you think like it is a Blizzard problem, or you think it is more like the way the gaming sphere, you know, like it kind of shifted over the years?
I think you're right. It's just the way gaming is nowadays. You know, I think back in the day when it was like Blizzard doing World of Warcraft and they had their couple of year expansion that would come out, you know, nowadays it's like there's more just downloadable content, and then you've got mobile gaming that's come into it, and mobile gaming is huge now. And these companies, instead of like most games that are free to play, you know, you can go onto them, log in, free to play. You know, look at Path of Exile for PC. We've obviously got Diablo, which is free to play, Diablo Immortal, completely free to play. But they've also got that massive pay to win part in it, so they can make money for the game, so they can continue giving us things. But if they're making so much money but not giving us content, then that's going to make people angry, just like you said. You know, every game is doing this nowadays. I don't think it's just a Blizzard thing or any sort of you know, developer in general. I think it's just the whole concept now is just that way. It's a money making scheme. Can I blame them? No, but they're going to want to make money for the businesses.
Do you think like players will get tired one day of this bullshit that's been happening?
Maybe, but I think as time goes on, I think people will just settle into this is the way it is.
Yeah, it is what it is, right?
Yeah, look at DI when it first came out, massive numbers. Everyone raged because it was massively pay to win. The numbers went down, but the game didn't stop then. It still carried on, and it has done what 3 years in now, you know. And I quite believe we'll have another couple of years at least. What will be after that, who knows? I know that they're talking about D4 having a 10-year plan. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I saw more or less like the roadmap. I didn't went like inside the goodies. I can see like Diablo Immortal, Diablo 4 having like a bigger longevity, because they can always have like that money coming in like with the expansions. But I just feel like I played Diablo 4 recently, and yeah, man, like I think the game is fucking struggling. It's just like struggling to find like solutions. And I feel like one thing that feels like it is happening with the Diablo games in general is it feels like they are always playing this catching up to other companies. You know, they are like you see like Path of Exile, you see like Last Epoch, man. People don't fucking talk about Last Epoch enough, but the game itself, like it's trying to always pushing the boundaries when it comes to the systems, like innovating and improving at the same time, which is hard. You can try to innovate, but sometimes some innovations kind of sucks. But they are, like as an indie studio, they are doing like the right thing, right? Because even though everyone was like praising the Path of Exile 2, but like there are some people that are unhappy. But I don't know, like that's how gaming is right now.
Yeah, I think the ratings for PoE 2 on like Steam and that has there's been a lot of negative ones recently, simply just because of the kind of patch notes that were put out and that people didn't like what they saw. And that's just the way it is, isn't it? That's the aspect of gaming now. I think developers have to listen to the communities. They have to.
Yeah. Do you think we have more power? Do you think, because like I feel like we have more power, but in Diablo Immortal, I feel that we don't have enough numbers to make a difference.
Yeah, for sure. I'd agree with that.
You know what I'm saying?
I think as well, when it comes to DI, the fact that we've got NetEase involved and not just a Blizzard game, that also puts things in the way, doesn't it?
That's true. But do you agree with that thing that I said, like regarding that feels like Blizzard over this time is feeling like they are catching up, like always playing the catch up?
I would agree.
Yeah, it's kind of, you know what it kind of reminds me? It reminds me of Apple, in a way. That at one time, like Apple used to be like this company that always innovated. But then they changed like their approach, and their approach is like, we're gonna sit back, we're gonna let everyone else like coming up like with these new inventions, and whenever we come up with a new thing to add it to the iPhone or whatever, we're gonna try to make it that invention but better, you know? That's was the Apple approach during these years. It's not working that well nowadays, but I feel like Blizzard is trying to make that approach now. But the reality is, like, whenever they are coming out with their own features, they are or the same or worse than the ones that came out for the other games. And it happened in Diablo 4 is like the perfect example. And I feel like we can talk about like the PvE, the PvP being like a very strong point when it comes to Diablo Immortal being like a great game for mobile. But I feel like, seriously, the biggest thing that Diablo Immortal has compared to any other game, it is just the fact that it's a mobile game.
Exactly. You know, you hit a nail on the head. The fact that we've got an ARPG like Diablo on mobile is amazing, you know, and it will be there at the top of the list until something better as an ARPG comes. And that's going to be hard to beat.
Yeah, like every day, I mean, as a creator, right? Like we are always like trying to look out like for new things, you know, like maybe not every day, but you know, like once in a while you try to see what is coming and all these things. Yeah. And the reality is like I will probably cover like another game that will come, like if it is like hits these targets, right? Mobile/desktop, okay? It gotta be playable on both. I feel like, I don't know. Yeah. If it is only mobile, for me, I don't think it's gonna work that well, because I don't see myself like okay, I have it here. I don't see myself, hey guys, reading the chat, playing, you know, like I don't see myself like streaming, like using the iPad. I think it will be very weird. So, and I feel like these new games having this approach like mobile/desktop, I think it should be pretty much a staple. I wouldn't mind, for example, playing this new game Moko that Echo is covering just for fun.
Man, I would send you an invite, but they got rid of all the invites.
I think I actually think I got it, because I got on my email, because I did the pre-register like months ago. But I didn't play it yet. And the reason is because it's not on the PC. You know,
I'd agree. Yeah, I'd agree. I've played it. I didn't
You
reach
did?
top level. Yeah, I haven't reached top level. And it is very addictive.
Really?
But it's not on PC.
So you get tired? For me, I just
Um,
get tired after a while.
Yeah, 100%. You know, I like to be able to play on the PC mostly. And that's why I enjoyed that when I knew DI was coming to PC, I was like, this is going to be great. This is going to be the game that I put thousands of hours into just because it's not just on mobile. But
Yeah,
it's also a game that I can sit down on the couch if I'm watching TV with the missus,
yeah, it's
and I can
great.
still sit there and do my weekly raids with a warband. I can do some bits and bobs in the game while I'm just sitting there watching TV. So you've got that kind of best of both worlds.
Yeah, even yesterday I was watching like the first episode of Black Mirror, like the new season, and I was farming dungeons because like I was like, hey. But the thing is, like, dungeons nowadays are so mechanical, especially these are normal Inferno 6, you know. So I can like I'm not even like looking, right? Like I did this 10,000 freaking times. I can literally be watching a show and farming dungeons.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, it's so easy, you know. And I think that's what other games that are just on mobile are going to miss out on.
Yeah. Let's see here. Read the chat. There's a lot of like good comments. Mark was saying, I installed the eye on my phone first release, deleted because it felt junky. Then I saw an ad on Facebook. Those ads look like kind of the fake ads. I tried again and like it better. I don't know if I still saw an ad. Maybe Blizzard still believes in the eye. They won't be spending money on marketing if it's dead. No. Okay. It like absolutely. Even if it was going down the trend, these companies, they will always try to advertise to revive it, right?
Yep.
Because the way marketing works, they have like a budget, right? And they put their marketing budgets on a specific game, and as long as they are making more money than they were spending with the marketing budget plus the expenses and all these things, it is still gonna be good for it, right? The other thing is like I also feel like we are talking here about 20 million per month, but I also have to say something that one of the reasons why I think that I don't think all these months, January and February, they gave a lot of revenue. I absolutely think that if one thing happened was something called Colossus Engine. Okay, yeah. Here we don't have a big booba waifus, but we have big legendary 5-stars that literally make you big, skill range, immunity to knockback, and some extra damage, right? Like this is our version of like a big booba sexy anime girl. All right,
100%, you're right. Yeah, 100% you're right, you know, without a shadow of a doubt.
So I feel like just the gem itself kind of boosted the sales by a lot. So I will be expecting to see another leak in 3 months to see if we're gonna have more 60 millions. If so, I'll be happy and I'll be more demanding and a bit more aggressive on my criticism to Diablo Immortal if they are actually making this kind of money, because I think we deserve better, man. I think absolutely this game has, and I feel like this is the whole like sentiment between players that they are still playing and players that they played and maybe they quit the game. They say I think we all think that this could have been way better, and I still think that it can still be way better, as you're saying. And well, Lawrence, if maybe they will listen a bit more to the community. I think that at the end of the day, maybe we are not like game developers, and maybe we don't understand all the inside and outs, but we are players that we put a lot of hours, probably like more, and definitely way more than than developers, right? And we definitely have some understanding of the game, what could make the game at least more fun. Not always more fun means more easy, you know?
Yes, and I think another thing to say on that as well is more fun shouldn't then require us to pay any more money in.
True. But I feel like the way I see these mobile games companies work is Diablo Immortal, it is no exception when it comes to this. They tend to implement only things that they feel like is gonna bring them more money.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, 100%.
So if it's like if it's aligned with the community, it's like good. If it's not, well, hey, we gotta make some money, you know.
Yeah.
But like I saw it like in like there are some other games that I played in the past that they kind of feel like they always fall short. Like when it comes to this, it's like in the beginning, like they are so like we are ready to listen to the community and all these things, and over the time, you know, like the game maybe doesn't perform as well, and then they come and say sorry, I'm sorry, all these things. We're gonna make the game better, you know, like no, you suck on that copium for like another 6 months, and then the game just keeps dragging, right? So
One game that comes to mind. Wildstar.
Brawl Stars.
Wildstar. Do you remember that game?
Wildstar, I never played it. No,
it was like a massive MMO that was coming out, and it majorly flopped. And they said exactly what you just said, that they were going to listen to the community. Then they tried to relaunch it, and then eventually they closed it down because they couldn't do what everyone wanted. The game was really good to start with. The combat felt good, but they didn't listen, sadly.
Yeah, and if we are seeing like a lot of the changes like recently, a lot of them are feedback that the community gave probably years ago. A lot of like we also have to give that, you know, praise to, you know, the developers, like, because like we're actually having some meaningful changes coming to the game. Not everything is bad or everything, like, no, there are definitely some things, but why not doing it sooner? You know, like,
yeah.
Why expect and have all these drag? And there are like still like so many other things that if we are here playing Diablo Immortal in 1 year, there are things that we are complaining today that maybe in 1 year they will come up to the game and we're gonna say the same thing. Like, why not earlier? Like, why keep like these in the game when you already know that it is bad for the game? Like, green set items are like for me, like, there's a few examples come like to mind like very quickly. Set items, I feel like it's not the worst thing in the world, so but it, like, the system could be so much better. And I feel like because it's not like the worst thing in the world, it goes like very low on the priority list for them to fix it or make it better. So the other thing, I feel like this was probably asking for a major rehaul of the game, but I feel that, man, the Shadow and Immortal system, it is so outdated. What do you think about that? Because you've been playing the game for more time than me.
I would agree. You know, I think you before I came on, I think you was talking to someone about kind of how you become immortal, and the fact that most servers now have, you know, one alliance and another alliance, and they just swap between them. I think that is the main issue. It doesn't give anyone else a chance to experience that kind of side of the game.
Yeah.
When you just have, you know, it being swapped between 3 clans and then the other 3 clans. And every server has the issue, every cluster has the issue, no matter what kind of server it is, this side of the world or onto the US side, you know. It's all the same. All the same. And I think you're right. That is the downside to kind of most people experience. They never get to experience what it's like to be an immortal. Now, I've been an immortal loads of times, probably just like yourself, you know. Being in the clans we're in, we're lucky that we're both on the same server, and I suppose that we do swap
different
and change
factions, different factions. Yeah, he's my enemy, chat. He's my enemy.
I'm coercing with the enemy right now, so I should I've got to be careful what I say. Can't give any secrets away. But you know, I think that is a thing, isn't it? You know, people do wonder, you know, and like that person said in your chat earlier, how do I become immortal? Which part of your clan is immortal? Because they just don't see that side of it, and it's a shame. It's a shame.
Yeah, they don't see it, and nobody fucking knows, and nobody tells you how you become, because like it is like so hard to understand like how does even like this system works until like you have a veteran that sits down to you like, come here on my lap, boy, come here. I'm gonna tell you a story of how you become an immortal. You have 2 hours, okay. You know, it is like so convoluted. Like nobody understands like this the reign, like that you have to go into a clan. Like it is like I feel like that's one of the things that kind of like really turns me off about like the clan stuff. Like I just don't like it. I just don't like it. I don't like that we have like a lot of like fixed times. Like it's just like too complex or unnecessarily. I just don't like. I think I got used to it because I experienced like multiple times, and it's like even if it's like smells like shit, you get used to the smell of shit. But it's still shit at the end of the day, you know?
Yeah, there's no getting away from it, is there? You know, the amount of times that I still forget to do things in the game, though.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Every week there's something, and I think to myself, I get to the Sunday, and I'm like, ah, shit, I haven't done that this week. You know, like today, I've got to do Verge later on before I go to bed tonight because I haven't done Verge at all this week. So it's just one thing that I haven't had the time or got round to doing. Just one of those things. But when I'm Shadow, I always end up forgetting to do Shadow War at least once a week.
Yeah, like oh my god, I forgot to do a assembly. Thank you so much for telling me that. Yo, I actually forgot. Wait, let me go. Like this is, bro, this is not even scripted, chat. Yeah, like this is not even script. I actually forgot to do the assembly. Let me actually go there. I always forget. If I don't do it in the morning, I always forget it. Oh, there is no assembly on Sunday. Okay, see, another thing I forgot.
So you're safe then. You're safe. No assembly on a Sunday.
Yeah. We're safe, guys. Let me go here and read again the chat. Like CB was saying, earlier suggestion that they could revive the platinum market, but having a limit on that will be a decent idea. What do you mean, like a platinum market? Maybe you can develop it a bit. I remember a game that go for it.
I don't know how they would do that. I really don't know how they can revive this market. This market is so bad. It's the only way I can kind of describe it. Even if they go like they said they're going to do, where it's going to be the market is going to be across all servers, I don't think that's going to improve it at all.
I feel like it is because there is not a lot of plat on the market for the. I just think like if you want to imagine if you are a low spender or a free to play. The only way to make like a bunch of loads of plat, it is alts or be extremely lucky, right?
Yeah.
You get some orange runes, maybe you get like a godly pet on your convert or something like that. But overall, like there's not a lot of ways to make a lot of plat. So whenever like the majority of the players, which is the free to play and low spenders, they don't have a lot of plat to spend. There's not a lot of plat like moving, you know, on the economy, right? So everyone is expecting that, you know, the players and low spenders, they will flood the market with like these normal gems, like the legendary gems and all these things, and that the other side, the rich people will buy them. But an economy, a healthy economy, is usually whenever you have everyone eating from the same plate, but maybe in small slices, right? So he said like, for me, I think I made like a total of like 9 purchases until now in the action house in 1 year, right?
Yeah.
It is extremely low. And also like if you try to sell it, there's like this 15% commission that they take. I feel like that's just crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't agree with them taking any of it. I think if at the end of the day, well, why does that need to be there?
No, it just, I feel like it doesn't help a lot. No, I probably the main reason why they do that, it has to be like with alts or like gold farm. I don't know, man. Like, it's just like
I don't know how to explain it.
It gotta be because of something, like it gotta be a reason, you know. If one day like we get a developer, like, but the thing is like even if you ask the developers, they will not give you like the full answer. You
No.
know, they will go like around because I realized, because like recently I made like that interview with Ryan, and he's not a developer, like he's like the narrative designer, but along that process I realized that they have to go to this PR process, and just a lot of like developers, the game developers, like I don't know if you ever met a developer. They are like more, contain. They don't like a lot of exposure. They especially don't like to probably go on the record and say something that's gonna give a lot of backlash through them on the social media and all these things, right?
I can totally understand that. Well, they don't want to have someone asking them questions they can't really answer, so don't put themselves in that situation in the first place. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then if they want it, but I will give you my personal opinion. No, you can't, because like you're representing the company.
You can't. Yeah.
So that's like one of the things that I really like when I see, for example, like Path of Exile 2 announcements and all these things, and I see like the developer, like you have like Jonathan and Matt, right? Like I think it's Matt, the guy. And bro, they are just like two fucking bosses, man. Like they understand the game inside out. They speak with the community. You also have like on the Fire Camp chats, like on Diablo Immortal, the way they speak like with the community is way more fluent. And I think like sometimes we could have something like that. I feel like if we could have like something, like even like every 3 months, the devs coming and not just like trying to hype us to the next content, but actually, hey, we're gonna try to solve these are the issues, we have these in mind, maybe we can do that, maybe like just some honesty, man, like some direct talk. I feel like in these times that's more needed than ever.
Yeah, I think for the dedicated player base, I think they kind of almost deserve that.
Yeah, like imagine like you spend like thousand, like I cannot even, I feel like I try to be as empathetic as possible to someone that spent like probably thousands of dollars or pounds or whatever, or euros in this game, and in the hope that, oh, I'm investing, I'm supporting the game and these things, and then you don't see the game like going or building up the way you expected. Obviously that's going to build a lot of resentment, and I feel like that resentment shows a lot on the Reddit. It shows a lot, like I feel like the Reddit is like literally the core of like,
Yes, it is.
the grumpy veterans,
Yeah.
and and I need to have some empathy, right? Because like for me, it cost me time mainly, right? And a lot of time that I put in this game, but I fortunately I don't have like that financial attachment. So how would actually this before we wrap it up, it's just like a personal question. Like I don't know how much money you put in this game, maybe like a few thousand, and how would you deal with the fact if Blizzard tomorrow came up and say in 6 months it's gonna be shut down?
It is what it is.
You will just you'll not get pissed, you'll not just like, you will be like, fuck yeah, thank God I'm jail free.
I think at the end of the day, like a lot of us would be pissed. Even some people that are free to play because they love the game, the community has been built. But I think if they decide to do it, it is down to them to do. We all know that this game, it doesn't belong to us. It is a game that they make money for the business for, and we're just here for the ride. At the end of the day, hopefully that doesn't happen, and hopefully there will become a time where it does die out. But hopefully if we're still a way off that, because I still love playing the game every day. I think it's a great game. But if they did that in say 6 months time, I think the only thing you could say is it is what it is. There will be people out there that try to do lawsuits and things like that, because there is always people that try to do that, but they knew what they were signing up for.
Yeah, and I'm sure like there's a lot of people not only put a lot of time, but a lot of fucking money, as we know, right? So yeah, for me, I feel like even if it's I actually like, I will probably be sad, like I will be like, man, I wish like instead of like dying would go into the other direction. But I always like to, like, the reality is, as you said, you know, like, there will always be another game, right? And you know, it's just like part of the nature. Whenever like one dies, the other grows, and life just moves
I
on.
think
And it
the
is
more
what it is.
difficult thing for people like ourselves that are, you know, creating for a game, is if the game dies, then do we die with that game
Like, you mean as a creator?
as a creator? Because you focus so much time on that one game
Mm.
that
Uh,
finding the next game, if a game was suddenly being shut down, could be a challenge.
I mean, okay, if we're talking about in that scenario, what I can say is like, that's where you putting more of your personality, most likely you'll have an advantage moving on to a
Yes.
next game.
Yes.
Moving as a pack will be helpful. Imagine, like, instead of you just moving to another game alone, maybe you moving with other 2 or 3 creators, where these 3 creators bring, you know, the communities can be,
Yeah.
can be a strategy.
But that's the good thing about this game, is it's such a community-driven game
Yeah.
that, you know, you don't just build connections up because you're playing the game. You build it up because you're making a community for your clan, for your warband, for your YouTube channel, you know,
Yeah.
or your Discord channel. You know, you're building that kind of connection up instead of it just being, I watch that person on YouTube. You know, that goes, they can say, oh, I speak to that person on a regular basis in their Discord channel or in
Yeah.
the game. You know, and I think that's the better connection that we need to have as creators, you know. And I know for a fact that in my short period of time of doing it, that has definitely been a thing that has pushed me further forward than I ever expected it would.
Yeah, like whenever you build a community and you have like a lot of silence community, okay, I would say like the majority of the community is actually the silence one. The silence community is like the one that is not on your Discord. It doesn't comment, probably likes, or if you stream,
Yeah.
never chats, but is there watching your content. Okay.
Yeah.
I will say like one of the reasons why since the start I decided like to put my face in these things. First, it obviously was to show off my beard, right? Like we all know that. But second, it was because personally, I as a viewer always developed a bit more relatability to someone with a camera than a faceless channel. It doesn't mean like a faceless channel cannot do well. It can definitely do well as long as like it's great content, right? Like, people will always watch great content, no matter
Yeah.
what, face or no face. But I generally feel like if you're in the future trying to move forward to another game, I think if they know you and they know you for your personality, it is probably going to be easier for you to change games than actually a game that is like faceless and just focusing on in one game.
Yeah. I agree. You've built a community up. I'm starting to build a community up, and you know, if you went to another game now, you would get a percentage of that community follow you, and that's what you would start off with a new game with.
Yeah, but we also have to understand, like, at the end of the day, they also will only join whatever they are interested.
Yeah.
And like that's the hard. So like in an ideal world, you want to, oh my god, no matter what I play, like sometimes you read these comments and a few of them are saying the truth. Like no matter what you play, they will be there. But a lot of that, it is actually not like really. It can give you like a false sensation of like security that you have like this community that is gonna like support you in like whatever you do, whatever you play, like you actually gonna be like fun. But the reality is like we will always have a drop down, and you always have to build up a different community, you know, with the remains of the old one, and you just keep expanding. And personally, I mean, I never been there, but I know that it is most likely the hardest things that most YouTubers they try to do, or content creators in general, and they fail.
Yeah.
So it's that part for me, it is very fucking scary.
For sure. Even for me, it's only been doing it since November. You know, thinking that, you know, I've enjoyed what I've done so far, and I want to continue doing it. To think that, you know, a couple of years down the road, it could be that I need to do something to continue that. Is a scary thought, for sure, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know what is a scarier thought than that? Is that we're gonna have now Vigils of Blade.
Yep.
I don't know if I'm gonna be in the same faction as or the same room as Lauren. Probably not, because I'm a fucking noob. I'm gonna be thrown into the fucking 4th tier or something. Like, but Lawrence, man, thank you so much for coming. Oh, see, there's the notice. Always a pleasure to have you here. Hopefully you can come back in the future. I always love to have these chats. Chat, please go and also drop a follow on Lawrence if you still didn't. Lawrence, can you go and type something in the chat so they can see? And yeah, thank you so much, brother. As always, I'll fucking love to speak with you, man. It's you're such a cool guy, man. And
We had some great conversations, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think also because like we come like from the same similar background, we understand each other, and we feel and I like that we don't have like always like the same opinion, but I feel like at the end of the day, I can see where you're coming from, and I think you can see where I'm coming from, and I like that. So guys, thank you so much, Lawrence, for coming. Go there, drop him a sub if you still didn't, and Lawrence, I'll see you soon, man.
Catch you soon, mate. Take care.
Thanks. Cheers, man.